Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the Canadian Chamber of Commerce for providing a forum to discuss and share learnings from the pandemic. In particular, we believe it's especially timely for us to consider how the innovative life sciences industry can continue to partner with Canadian governments at all levels to build resiliency and help prepare Canada for any future pandemic disturbances. Today, I'm speaking from the vantage point as Head of Government Affairs and Market Access for GSK in Canada. GSK is a science-led global healthcare company with a legacy in Canada dating back to 1902. We employ more than 2,600 full-time employees from coast to coast, and GSK ranks consistently as one of Canada's top 100 employers and R&D investors. I share this information about GSK's footprint in Canada because, if nothing else, the COVID-19 pandemic has underscored the importance of having a robust domestic life sciences industry, including local manufacturing. I know that others in this room are heavily invested in Canada too. And it is certainly encouraging to hear the Federal Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry and other political leaders at all levels of government speak more and more about increasing the strength of domestic biomanufacturing. Indeed, we have already seen progress on this front. Part of the solution for future pandemic preparedness must include making the necessary investments in domestic biomanufacturing. Perhaps even more important is the need to continually streamline and modernize regulatory processes. If I were to identify a silver lining from the pandemic, it would certainly be that. Out of necessity, COVID-19 has led to unprecedented flexibility, agility, and pragmatism within Canada's regulatory regimes to ensure timely access to vaccines and therapeutics. Typically, we measure the time from when a drug and vaccine are first approved in Canada, reviewed by CADIS or NACI, negotiated and listed in hundreds of days. COVID-19 showed us that working together more efficiently makes it possible to shorten those timelines considerably without forsaking due diligence. While I'm not suggesting that private and public professionals involved in drug reviews should maintain the pace of the last 2 years, I do think it is fair to ask ourselves the critical question: how can we improve the overly time-consuming pre-COVID reimbursement processes so that we are providing Canadians timely access to new treatments? Another question we should ask ourselves is, what are the most useful and appropriate roles and responsibilities for the federal and provincial governments regarding post-pandemic purchasing? As we reflect on that question going forward, let's remind ourselves of where we've been. We should keep in mind that in December of 2020, Canada became just the second country of the G7 to receive the first COVID-19 vaccines. GSK has welcomed the opportunity to partner with the Public Health Agency of Canada on various aspects of Canada's pandemic response. And I do think most would agree that despite some challenges, PHAC has fulfilled one of its vital mandates given to it by the Government of Canada: ensure continued and equitable access to vaccines and COVID-19 treatments for all Canadians. Over the coming year, I'm sure we can look forward to several reviews and reports looking into which aspects of Canada's pandemic response were successful and where improvements are needed. In a country made up of provinces and territories varying greatly in size and capacity, I believe that a continued federal leadership in the procurement of COVID-19 related vaccines and therapies is the best way to ensure predictable and equitable access for all Canadians from coast to coast. to coast. Some lessons learned from this experience may apply to other pressing public health programs, such as the growing threat of antimicrobial resistance, or AMR. That will be a topic for another day. And so, I would simply close by saying that while the pandemic has undoubtedly exposed and deepened some of the cracks in our system, it has also revealed some potential best practices that could serve us well as a country moving forward. At GSK, we greatly appreciate the work of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and how it's bringing its members together to help pull these valuable learnings and set the stage for the future. Thank you everyone for adding your voices to help inform this important work.